Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime Symbol. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto was betrayed and his true self locked away. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Unlock 100% of his brain. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this? Let's begin now, guys. So the last part that we left off, Sakura was beginning to think that something was wrong with Naruto. He was acting rather strange until he asked her out. As she realized that he was back to normal, it seems that the land of Wave shook him up more than she thought, but everything seemed to be quite fine. Kakashi had nominated all of them for the Chunin exams, so here they were as they proceeded to make their way inside. They went through the first test rather easily as they went through the second one. However, something was not right. Something was not right at all. As Orochimaru attacked the group, Naruto knocked Sakura out because she was still standing. He was acting rather strange. Yes, he was talking to the Sannin without a shred of fear. Despite knowing and seeing what the Sannin have done, Orochimaru found this rather intriguing, as he decided to give the boy a way out, knowing who the boy was. Perhaps his hate for Konoha was larger than he thought, so he gave him a way out to join him, to be one of his subordinates, as Naruto said that he will think about his offer. Orochimaru had a vested interest in the boy now, as the Chunin exams finally came around, with Naruto butchering 2 teams within the forest. But now they were out, and now they were free, so here they were, as Orochimaru was even there as well watching Naruto. As Naruto faced Kiba, Kiba was shocked that Naruto had grown this much during the short amount of time they had not seen each other, as Naruto had defeated him. During the month, Naruto met Jiraiya of the Sannin, as Naruto pretended like he did not know anything, talking to the man in a casual way. Jiraiya made Naruto sign the summoning contract. This was a problem for him because they could use this against him to get him back. However, he had an idea that he was working on. As Naruto proceeded to make his way, it did not take him too long. As the finals finally happened, Naruto held his strength back greatly within the finals. As the time passed, the invasion finally came down on Konoha. Upon doing so, Naruto summoned a clone and left it inside, while he made his way in the forest. Sasuke and Sakura were against Gaara, as Sasuke was exhausted when Naruto arrived. However, Gaara was too strong for him and gutted him, tearing giant holes in his body before ripping him apart. Sakura and Sasuke's eyes went wide as they watched Naruto fell, Sakura screaming out his name, as a massive wind attack slammed down on the area, knocking away everything and everyone. As the real Naruto emerged, that right there was a blood clone, quickly placing a seal down on Gaara to cut off the supply of chakra to the Biju. As Naruto ran through 52 hand sign and placed his hand on his chest, he basically stopped his heart. And he basically used a seal to make it seem like he was dead. Therefore, his name on the scroll would vanish away. Yes, with that he proceeded to left the village. 1,000 clones checked the area as Orochimaru with his arms, not being useful, had to flee. When Naruto came across the group, he even offered for him to be knocked out to be brought with them. That is, to show that he did not have any loyalties to Konoha, and that he was not trying to sneak around and see their base. So Jirobo knocked him out, while Naruto had Gaara. As the other two returned back to the village to inform Kakashi of what happened, Naruto was nowhere to be seen. Jiraiya had checked the scroll and his name, he was gone. Both Jiraiya and Kakashi felt awful. A lot of people that believed that he was their friend felt awful. Even the Ichiraku family found out about this. It was a true shocker to them, as Hinata was devastated and truly broken up about Naruto's death, as she couldn't believe it. He was gone, she would never see him again. The Sanjin Julke had killed Konoha Jinchuriki. This was a huge problem. While all of that was going on though, Naruto was having a conversation with the Sannin. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out yourself, and also don't forget to go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode, shall we? Let us begin now guys. We begin this episode with Tsunade Senju. She was at the Hidden Leaf Konoha. Yes, because she was the 5th Hokage. Now you might be wondering, how was that possible? She was someone that has left the village a long time ago, refusing to ever return. Well, it was not that complicated, to be quite exact. Orochimaru had found her. He wanted her to heal his hands. He gave her a week to consider. He was rather open about his action to destroy Konoha, as much as she didn't want it to return. He killed Sensei, the person that guided them and raised them to becoming the ninjas that they are this day, and the man that allowed her to simply leave, despite her allegiance to the village, and did not send hunter ninjas after her to forcefully bring her back or order her to do so. So, she was going to go there, but it was to kill the Sannin. However, her hemophobia acted up. Orochimaru had a partner there, and he used the blood against her. She wasn't able to defend herself as Shizune came in. She watched as Shizune was about to die until Jiraiya arrived. With Jiraiya there, he was able to face off against Orochimaru and his subordinate, a full healthy Jiraiya, who seemed to be extremely angry at the Sannin, reasons she wasn't quite aware of. Jiraiya almost killed the both of them, but in the end, they fled. Jiraiya had this look in his eye that even surprised Tsunade. This hate that she never thought she would see in his eyes before. This uncontrollable hate. After she was cleaned up, after she was able to calm down, Jiraiya explained why he was there. A good thing that he arrived, Shizune would have died. After sitting down and talking to him, she found out that Orochimaru was indirectly responsible for the death of his latest pupil. However though, this wasn't any ordinary child. Tsunade didn't know why. Jiraiya spent the next few weeks with her, trying to convince her to return. Shizune also seemed like she wanted to return as well. However, she was against this. Whether he weighed her down or not, she had no idea why she accepted. Maybe she felt sorry for him. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe she was over the whole drunken, gambling thing. No, that couldn't be it. The reason to why she accepted was even beyond her own understanding. Well, she did have a dream. A dream of Dan and Nawaki. urging her to take the title, to take the position that they would have wanted. They would have been proud of her. So here she was, as the Hokage of the village. However, she found something rather troubling last night, going over a few secret documents that were only to be viewed by the Hokage. She would have brought them up this morning, but this morning it turns out that another problem rose. Sakura Haruno, a genin of this village, was found unconscious on a bench. She later informed them that Sasuke fled the village. Tsunade was weak on manpower right now, so she found the best that she could, and that was genins and chunins, to go after Sasuke Uchiha. There was a whole big problem with the hidden sand at the moment. The Sand Jinchuriki was the one to kill Konoha Jinchuriki. However, the Sand Jinchuriki was now missing. The only ones that were retrieved was the other two siblings. The youngest one, the Sand Jinchuriki, was missing. However, the Sand wanted to apologize, to mend their wrongs. They were tricked into this. That was their big go-ahead claim. And the second one was their Jinchuriki was also missing, saying that something else was at afoot here. She sent word to the Sand, asking for their aid, a way for them to show that they were repairing the relationship between themselves. While that was going on, Choji Akimichi lay within the forest, close by to a dead Jirobo, former member of the Sound 4, now deceased. Choji wasn't doing so well, not at all. A further distance down below, Neji Hyuga was not doing so good either, as his battle against the Sound 4 member Kidomaru took quite a lot out of him. However, in the end, he came out on top, but his wounds were severe and life-threatening. Up ahead, Kiba Inusaka was unconscious on the ground, as his puppy Akamaru was lying beside him out cold as well. Standing nearby was Kankuro. Kankuro and Temari had no idea what happened on that day. The next thing they remember after Gaara lost control was waking up in one of Konoha's cells until they were released after a long time in there. However, they weren't mistreated, nor did anyone come to actually talk to them other than one person, and that was it. So yeah, they have no recollection or no understanding of what happened to their brother. If anything, Konoha probably kidnapped Gaara without their knowing and had him right now. However, Konoha, the new Hokage Tsunade, wanted to know herself what happened to the Sand Jinchuriki. Turns out that Gaara killed Konoha Jinchuriki, and a lot of people were talking about that. That is why they were even here, as they were forced to come here as a sign to show that the village were still united just because of their mistake. That would not end the treaty between them, despite the fact that they weren't so trusting of the Hidden Leaf right now, not knowing if they were the ones that took Gaara. As he looked down towards the unconscious boy on the ground, he simply turned his gaze away. Over to the side was two corpses of Ukon and Seikon, split themselves apart to fight. However, with him intervening, the battle became a lot easier. Shikamaru, the leader of this so-called team, found himself in a sticky situation as well, as here he was. He wasn't bad off. Out of everyone, he had the less amount of injuries. However, standing close by was Temari. The forest was completely destroyed. A wave of her fan and she wiped everything out. A distance ahead, Rock Lee was in a very bad condition, as there was a Sand Chunin, a special medical nin nearby, healing his wounds. The Sand had provided aid to help them in their dire situation after all. Tenten was nearby, also Might Guy as well, as Guy body was still steaming after facing off against Kimimaro. He had opened the gates. Guy and Tenten along with Team 12 was on a mission They were notified at the gate on what was going on, and their assistant would be greatly helpful in this situation, so they made their way out there. But by the time they arrived though, Sasuke was already long gone. It was Kimimaro that was keeping Lee and the Sand Ninja medic at bay to stop them from getting anywhere close to Sasuke. Lee was pretty messed up, and he was about to be struck down. It was a good thing that Guy had arrived and took on Kimimaro and came out victorious. Kakashi, his rival, had passed by while the battle was still going on. However, all Kakashi came across at the Valley of the End was nothing. Sasuke had crossed the border, and he was gone. Kakashi stood there as the heavens started to weep. Medical ninjas started to bring back the others back to the village. Now 2 students he lost. First Naruto got killed and his corpse never found. And then Sasuke now leaving the village. And once again he was too late. Yes, he was too late. Time skip. Jiraiya got a message from Tsunade as she wanted to talk to him. He was heading back to the village, but it turns out there was an urgent matter that the head toad wanted to discuss with him. He was surprised. The head toad wasn't usually awake. Most of the times he was always sleeping. However, Jiraiya wondered what was this urgent matter. When he came across Naruto, he believed that Naruto would be the child of prophecy. However, he failed to keep the child protected and safe, and now he was gone, his name out of the scroll to prove that he was indeed dead. Here he now stood, as a toad was slipping in and out of his sleep, until his gaze focused. Ah, Jiraiya boy, what are you doing here? Jiraiya's sweat dropped. Remember, you were the one that called for him, said that you had an urgent matter to speak to him about. Fukazaku, one of the elder small toads, spoke up. As a massive toad on his throne, remember what you wanted to talk about. His face became serious as he could look in the situation that he was in, and given his age, there was so much wrinkles on a toad. Do you remember the prophecy I told you some time ago? Jiraiya glanced up towards the toad. Well, the first thing you told me that I would become a talented ninja and a pervert without any equal, he said. And I would also be the one to walk this earth, observing nature creation and watching nature take its course. Jiraiya stuttered to say the last part. And I will have a student that possesses the power to save or destroy this world. Yes, that is correct. Listen to me now, Jiraiya boy. Gamamaru said, I recently was awoken by a sensation that no other but a true being of nature could feel. I myself, being one with nature, I felt it. I also felt this a few thousand years ago. However, the threat was eliminated before it could reach great heights. What are you trying to say? Said Jiraiya. Something has been awakened within this world. Something dark. The very opposite of nature. A long time ago, they called him a cursed sage. However, those that wanted the righteousness of this world had seen to it that he was put down. But once again, somehow, this malevolent power has been brought back to this world. The very opposite of what you know as sage energy. The very opposite of nature and harmony. A twisted, vile energy that not many could ever obtain. But it seems another has awakened this cursed energy. I don't know who is behind this or what is their desire, but listen to me carefully as I tell you this. If this danger is not stopped, I'm afraid that we won't have a world left to live in. Gamamaru said with the utmost seriousness in his tone. Jiraiya was confused. as he's never heard of such a thing before. Cursed energy, the exact opposite of sage energy. He's never heard of that before. What exactly is it? Jiraiya said. What is what? The cursed energy. What's cursed energy? Jiraiya's sweat dropped as Gamamaru once again seemed to lose a train of thought. Ah yes, I remember our conversation now. Light cannot survive without darkness, and darkness cannot survive without light. Where there is one, there is always the opposite. Many has never even heard a glimpse of what this was, because over 1,000 years ago, a few that I know of rather well made sure that it was buried and destroyed, never to be heard of ever again. For one to achieve this state, not even I know the full understanding of gaining such force, but the very motion, the very existence of this person using this state is an abomination against the world as we know it. The world will not ever be the same until this threat is dealt with, and the longer it proceeds, the more danger this world has to face. As powerful as nature and existence is, this is its very rival. And with this on the playing board, nature will not be able to fight it alone. Your image was the first to come to my mind. I believe that whatever this is, you are in the center of it, and I believe that you will play a big part in trying to get rid of it. But I must warn you, Jiraiya boy, you must be very, very careful. The one who wields this power will be a threat unlike any that you have ever faced in your entire life. Time skip. Jiraiya was shocked upon returning back to the village, finding out that Sasuke Uchiha had left the village. He was going to have to pay Kakashi a visit. The loss of Naruto on him was great, and Kakashi was also close to Minato as well. He was perhaps feeling the same way, and know that the Uchiha was now gone. However, Jiraiya was given something by Tsunade. The man was truly shocked. After going into encrypted files, information that was only supposed to be visible by a Hokage, she came across certain informations that Hiruzen did not take to his grave. Jiraiya couldn't believe it. The information here was about Naruto, finding about who his parents were when he was younger, his intellect, his understanding. Jiraiya was angry that Hiruzen would do something like this, but for him to go this far, he truly believed that Naruto was a threat, a great enough threat. Tsunade started to worry. She's never met the child before, but could there be a possibility that he was not truly dead? Could there be a possibility that he remembered somehow, break through the seals, and that he fled this village? No corpse was returned. Yes, his body was never found. His name on the scroll is gone. He's dead, Jiraiya said. Are you sure there isn't a way to get around that? Are you sure that this child did not find a way to fake his death? No, that's not... What? What are you thinking? She said. I was going to tell you about what the toad told me. The great elder toad. What's going on? She said to him. He told me about something that he felt, and that I was involved. Jiraiya told her everything. Tsunade looked towards him. No, it's not possible. I spent the month with that kid. I tell you, no. Jiraiya, no, he said. Just think about it, she said to him. If this is the case, he can be the threat that we're dealing with. You know it yourself. You've seen many people fake their deaths before. Perhaps he did this just to understand you and just to understand more about your scroll in order to find a way to get beyond it. Look at Sensei notes. He truly believed that Naruto would have become a threat. A great enough threat for him to do this otherwise. Stripping him of his memories. Changing him. Turning him into something that he never was. It's because he feared what he would have become. Jiraiya was quiet, as his mind refused to believe this, but as a ninja, the signs were pointed there, and this new threat that he was involved in, could it actually be? Time skip. Sasuke Uchiha was now in the custody of Orochimaru. Since arriving here, Sasuke has been training, getting stronger. The push that Sasuke needed was Naruto's death, as he realized that being weak wasn't going to help him accomplish anything. And as much as he never wanted to admit it, Naruto was his friend. He even jumped in the path to save his life, risking his own. However, he died. He died right in front of his eyes, and there was nothing, not a damn thing that he could do to help him. So Sasuke fled. Screw the responsibilities, screw what happened. Upon his leaving the village, all he was focused on right now was gaining strength. He had no idea about Naruto being there. Orochimaru kept his word to the boy. Naruto was truthful in his words. He handed over Gaara to Orochimaru. The Sani never had a Jinchuriki within his grasp. There was a lot of experiments being done with the Tail Beast Chakra to bring forward new, powerful warriors, new heights. However, his main goal was still young Sasuke. It's been over a year and a few months now. Naruto was nowhere close to where Sasuke was. He was somewhere special. Orochimaru had one of his best, keeping an eye on him just in case. Despite the fact that the boy has proven to be loyal so far, and his hatred for Konoha was similar to his, to watch it burn. However, he did not possess the strength that he needed yet. But soon enough he will. And with the nine-tailed Jinchuriki by his side, the village will be brought down to its knees. Time skip. Unknown Island. A massive island. There were several sound ninjas goofing around until they immediately got to their feet. Guren-sama, they said. Standing there was a light blue-haired woman. Her name was Guren, as her dark eyes sent fear into each and every one of them. Report, she said. He hasn't been back down. The man in the center spoke up. It's been months, and he hasn't been back down, not even once. Guren glanced up towards the forest ahead of her. It was known as a dark forest, for good reasons. There were all sorts of deadly animals inside. But it wasn't only that. Even when the sun was high in the sky, inside would always be dark. The place was saturated with this tingling feeling. It could be overwhelming to most, but not to those that could truly handle themselves. When Orochimaru-sama had called her, she was so excited, believing that he was in need of her services. Guren was a proud believer in the man, and loyal. However, his job was having her basically be a babysitter, while she was not here all the time. These guys were here. She was the one that reported in back to Orochimaru. This boy though, he was something else. He's been in there for months. Most people did not spend that much time in there, not even her master. There was some special herbs and special plants inside that he used, but still, to be in there for this long, or perhaps he's fallen ill, perhaps he's dead. That is when it happened. A feeling that Guren had never felt before sent her body trembling. The sound ninjas all collapsed down to their knees, finding it hard to even think. Guren was shocked, confused. She felt a wave. It didn't feel normal. It felt dark, corruptive, demonic. Her gaze fluttered up towards where it was coming from, as the darkness of the forest seemed to want to draw her in. She backed away, as she steadied herself when the feeling suddenly vanished. Two of the men had passed out. The other one standing there was confused, barely holding up. What, what, what was that, he said, looking rather fearful. Guren had absolutely no idea. Time skip at Konoha. Tsunade Senju was gazing forward at Sakura Haruno. Tsunade had started up the medical program that she wanted to, and her prize student was Sakura. Not only did she teach a girl medical ninjutsu, but she teach her every aspect of being a medic, especially on learning how to evade and dodge. She also teach her super strength technique as well. The girl was dead serious on bringing Sasuke back to the village. It seems the loss of the Uchiha had really taken a great toll on her, given the first loss of the other boy, Naruto Uzumaki. However, Tsunade wasn't quite sure that was actually a loss. She and Jiraiya were the only ones that were actually aware of this. Jiraiya has been out, trying to locate and find any sign of the boy. However, it has been over 3 years, and there has been nothing so far. No movement. Even Orochimaru had fallen off the map. It seems like something was going on. After all, there was always a calm before the storm. Time skip. At the dark forest. Despite it being midday, inside was like night. Growling could be heard. A humanoid creature. One of Orochimaru's failed experiments. There wasn't only one though. There was dozens upon dozens of them, all around. It was good practice for him. Orochimaru had bring the failed experiments out here for him to test himself. For the past 3 years, Naruto had only came out twice out of the forest. And ever since that, he's been inside, training, living off the food from the animals inside. It didn't matter how tainted they might be. Orochimaru discovered this place a long time ago. This place wasn't natural. Whatever the sensation that kept it polluted, it was chakra. But it wasn't your average chakra. It was something more dark and twisted. The Sannin had tried to run experiments and try to understand it, but all end turned into a failure on his part. The once humanoid creatures that were now in the forest heard something. All of their gaze snapped towards it. Standing there was someone. He was calm, emotionless. They rushed towards him like wild animals, showing their fangs and their claws, and the strange mutated blades and weapons that were a part of their skin. The first one to reach him was one that seemed to have an axe in his hand as he swung. However, the hand was cleaved completely off. It did not stop, as it did not care about pain. It tried to bite. However, its face was grabbed before its head was plunged into the earth, destroying its brain. Its body lay motionless. The person then proceeded to step forward in the center of all of them. He held his hand out. It happened in a flash. Whether it was raw speed or teleportation, one could not quite understand. Their bodies were gutted within seconds. Their chests torn open, their heads split, their arms and legs taken off. That is when he vanished, as countless more rushed in. He was now in mid-air, slowly falling as he gazed down to all of them. He raised his hand up. There was a violent explosion, ripping apart all of the creatures down below. He did not stop as he ascended and jumped up, bypassing the trees. And he was finally visible to the world. There he was, Naruto Uzumaki. So much changes had happened to him over the past couple of years. For one thing, his hair was a bit longer. Not overly long, but a bit longer. There were 2 bangs coming down his face. He wasn't wearing a headband anymore. And he wasn't wearing a shirt. He now stood at 6'1". His height had greatly increased. He was tall, handsome. He wasn't overly jacked, but he had muscles. On his lean frame, he was wearing long black pants. His feet was bare. As he gazed up towards the sky, the sun rays washing over him, there was a smirk on his face. His face even looked a bit more animalistic. His canines were longer. Naruto closed his eyes as he found himself within the mindscape. The moment he stepped foot forward, a mighty growl shook the entire place, threatening to rip him to pieces. However, Naruto simply stood there, rather amused. You think these will hold me forever? I'll get free, and you'll be the first I devour. The mighty Kyuubi. However, the beast was shackled and chained. The gate that was once there was no longer there. As said earlier, a lot has happened. Given the, well, not friendship, but the understanding that the two of them had, and the promise that Naruto made. How did it become this? Well, for one thing, promises are meant to be broken. As Naruto simply smirked at the fox, he held his hand up as the black chains tightened themselves around the beast, causing it to wince in pain as they dug into his chakra, and that was harming it. You don't have to worry for much longer, said Naruto. Your time will come soon enough. The fox simply growled and glared at him, a dead glare. Time skip. Naruto dipped into the water as he pulled himself underneath. Before he came up splashing all over his hair, being soaked in the water. He wasn't wearing a shred of clothing. It was finally time for him to make his move. For the past 3 years he had been training constantly. He pushed his body to the limit and beyond, breaking himself down before rebuilding himself up. Well, he had guidance from one that no one would actually expect. Things were different now, his goals were different now, and his plan was right in front of him. And the first place for him to strike was right there. Naruto thought with a smile on his face. Time skip. A member of the Hidden Sand was a spy, found out by the upper heads after he failed to kill one of his targets when he was spotted. This person did not even know they were a spy, but they were. The Sand believed they could handle this by themselves. This person was spying for Sorcerer and Deidara. The two Akatsuki members arrived to gain information. The Akatsuki was out of whack. Jiraiya knew about the organization, therefore Tsunade informed the Sand of their goal. However, considering that they no longer had the One Tails, they should not be coming there. However, the Akatsuki was not sure what was going on. They heard that Konoha Jinchuriki had died. The Sand Jinchuriki was a mystery to many. Temari was captured. Word was quickly sent towards Konoha to gain their help. They believed they could handle the threat alone, but despite it only being two of them, two S-rank ninjas were forced to be reckoned with. All they wanted though was information where the one-tailed Jinchuriki was. Even if the beast had died 3+ years ago, it should have reformed by now, but there has been nothing. So something was going on. An elite squad from Konoha was sent to eliminate this threat, while Konoha no longer had his Jinchuriki. This was still a force that they couldn't allow to have. The tailed beasts, unknown what they want them for. Kakashi Hatake, along with Team 9 and Sakura Haruno, was sent. A very powerful force. It should be enough. A medic. You had your hand-to-hand combat specialist. You had your long-range navigator. So yes, the group was sent. They were accompanied by someone from the Sand. Her name was Lady Chiyo, as Kankuro had to stay behind, being a defense for the village despite his sister being kidnapped. Sorcerer, being a puppet master, knew how to push the human body to its limits, so it wouldn't be hard for him to get information from this girl. They were rather not afraid to show their strength, because they did not even go that far. They were between the land of river and the land of wind, in a massive cave, just a normal cave, not protected or anything. When they got there, Temari was on the verge of death. Sasori had a special concoction that would push one's nerve receptors to the absolute limit, making the mere touch of someone be excruciating. The problem was Temari had no idea where the hell Gaara was, where the hell the Jinchuriki was, where the hell the Tail Beast was. But they refused to believe her though, as the leader was demanding answers and Sasori's spy network was giving absolutely nothing. A battle entailed between them, where Sasori was destroyed with the help of Lady Chiyo. Despite their forces, Deidara was able to get away. His bird was his greatest attribute. However, they lost their one source of information that they get more of their intel from, despite he was unable to find the location of the One Tails. That was the big problem here. However, in his final moments, Sasori informed the Konoha group about something, mainly Sakura. That is why, as the days passed, 10 days, Kakashi Hatake was, along with Yamato, once again Sakura, as one of the greatest medics amongst our generation right now, and Team 8 as well. Hinata, Kiba and Shino and Kurnai. A dying man would not lie on his last living breath. Their goal was simple, it was to capture the spy of Orochimaru. She sent the extra backup just in case the mission went off the rails and they needed the support. However, that should be enough to capture the spy. Yamato, he was able to use the Mokiton like the first Hokage. He was able to perfectly mimic Sasori. The problem was, Orochimaru set this up to kill Sasori. So yes, the Konoha ninjas find themselves facing off against Orochimaru of the Sannin and also Kabuto Yakuji. While, together, not even with Kakashi's help they could handle Kabuto, but Orochimaru was a different beast entirely. The battle was looking like they were gonna have to flee. The Sannin was merely toying with them, despite Kakashi being there. However, Orochimaru seemed interested in capturing back Yamato. A problem arose though. She came out of nowhere. Their base was close by. Kakashi had to jump away, as Guren almost skewered him. Orochimaru was surprised to see her here. Their base was not far, but she seemed to have tracked him here. She told him something that surprised him. It was Naruto. He was gone. Her trip towards the forest, she found all of the Sound Ninjas dead. Orochimaru was worried, afraid that he might have created a monster that he couldn't actually control. He had no idea how strong Naruto has become. The feeling that Guren had sensed. The feeling to make her so afraid. Guren had felt nervous even approaching the island from the day she felt that feeling. The others, they had to switch guard duty. As fearful as they were of Orochimaru, they fear the sensation even worse. And Orochimaru was worried that he might have created a monster. Having no time to waste with these ninjas, Orochimaru headed off, leaving Guren and Kabuto behind, believing that they should be enough. However, he was mistaken on that. With the group combined effort, Kabuto realized that they were going to lose. However, bringing them back to the base would ensure the Konoha ninjas' death. Not only did they have the numbers, but Sasuke was also there as well. Orochimaru had headed back there as well. So they fled. After causing a distraction, Yamato already created a wooden clone. The wooden clone was able to follow them as they made their way back. The Konoha ninjas, on Kakashi's order, decided to move on and follow them. Sakura was very persistent about that as well. This was their chance. They couldn't afford to let this go. With the members healed up, they proceeded forward, unaware what they were going to face. They arrived at a massive location Neither Kabuto or Guren was aware that they were able to follow them, believing that they lost them, but they did not. Yamato Wood Clone could not be that easily since Hinata used her Byakugan to scan the entire place. Hinata, one that has taken a drastic change ever since the death of the person that she loved. Yes, she lost her Naruto-kun. Hinata was more serious than before. That light inside of her seemed to have dimmed. Kurina was worried about her, but she could understand, as she saw the way her student always fawned over that boy, and his death had changed her. What do you see? Kakashi asks, as they stood there waiting for her to find who was in this base. There's a lot of sound ninjas. The two that we were fighting earlier, they're up ahead, in the further district area. She pointed out, it seems they're giving them information to leave. Given that they know that you know where the place is located, Yamato-sensei, Hinata said without a stutter in her tone. Her eyes then suddenly widened slightly. What is it? Kiba said. It's Sasuke. Sakura gaze snapped towards her immediately. Is Sasuke's here? She said, shock written all over her face. Yes, but they're moving towards him as we speak. We have to go. Kakashi grabbed her hand. Calm down, Sakura. Running head first would only get yourself killed. Where is Orochimaru? Hinata scanned the place. He's not here. Alright, listen up, said Kakashi, formulating a plan in his mind. Time skip. Both Kabuto and Guren were making their way down the halls. Kabuto turned his gaze to the right. Both him and Guren leaped away. Fang over fang! Kiba came barreling through the wall. Wood-style wood-locking wall. A massive wood wall separated the both of them. Guren spun as Hinata was upon her, striking at her chest very hard. However, her attacks did not break through. Guren backhanded her, throwing her away. Hinata flipped and landed. It seems someone did not learn, Guren said, as earlier they had seen the body armor that she wear. However, Hinata looked up with a smirk on her face. Guren then looked down as her armor fell. What the hell? Bugs. She now understood. Those attacks were just diversion to place the bugs on her, for them to suck the chakra out of her crystal. Blazing through the hall, Chidori! Kakashi came in ready to plunge the attack right in her chest. However, Guren quickly formed what seemed to be a blade on her hand as she raised it. She twisted her body. However, it was too late as Kakashi attack tore right through it. Not strong enough to her quick movement. His attack tore and gazed into her shoulder, also damaging her arm. Guren quickly jumped back, only to find herself backed against a wooden wall. She cursed. She brought her hands up. However, her hands were no longer there. Ninja art. False illusion reality. Kunai cast her genjutsu upon her, as Kiba slammed right into her, along with Akamaru. Guren blasted through the wall as she crashed hard. She picked herself up, spitting out blood, as Hinata was upon her. Guren wasn't ready for this. Hinata proceeded to assault her. 32, as she went beyond her limit. 64. Every attack slamming into Guren before the final attack threw her. Their teamwork was immaculate. Her body was swarmed by bugs as they siphoned her chakra out. As for Kabuto, he was running through the hall. Kabuto was confused. Where was the damn sound ninjas? He cursed as he ran through the hall, making his way. That is when Kabuto felt something. He stopped, causing Yamato to stop as well, as the others close by came to a stop. They prepared themselves to fight. I'm surprised. What are you doing here? Kabuto said. An explosion went off, shaking the entire place, as Sakura snapped her gaze around, wondering if it was Sai. Yes, Sai. Sai had been a secret person on this mission, as no one had really mentioned or said anything about him. Tsunade did not trust him, because she did not trust Danzo Shimura. However, if he wanted to offer a hand, she would let him offer a hand, but Kakashi was the one to give the orders. Sai had stayed behind just in case they needed a bailout. Sai was informed, as he was flanking the group and watching all of their actions. However, he went beyond Kakashi's orders and entered the base. They had no idea what happened, but a violent explosion went off, causing them to disperse as it was a shock wave. Kabuto used the opportunity to flee, running away. Yamato wondered who the hell he was talking to, and why did he look so fearful. Yamato quickly turned as he made his way, as Sakura burst right through, stepping into the light as she saw him. She couldn't believe it. However, Hinata came to a stop, still inside. "What's wrong? We have to go," Kiba said. "Something. This doesn't... What is it?" "There is someone." "Who?" I can't see his face." "What do you mean?" "His body is cloaked by this strange darkness that my Byakugan can't peer through." "Sensei, he killed all the Sound Ninjas. They're all dead," Hinata said in shock. She saw them alive, but now they were on the ground. Their bodies, it seemed, dried up. Their hair was thin and their flesh was wrinkled. "What?" Kurenai said, trying to understand what the hell was going on. And who was this mysterious person? Was it Sasuke? "No, Sasuke is ahead. We have to focus on him right now," Kurenai said, despite knowing that there was a threat close by. It was gone. Hinata could no longer pinpoint it or where it went. "Sasuke," Sakura said, as she wanted to cry. Seeing him from so long, Kakashi stood beside her, along with Yamato as the others finally emerged along with Shino. Sai was already there, it seems. He was the one that caused something to happen, which led to the explosion. Sai pointed his blade towards Sasuke. "Sai, what are you doing?" Sakura yelled at him. "Sakura." She froze at his words, hearing him call her name, as she looked up towards him. "Kakashi," he said, as he looked at the others. But he did not even acknowledge any one of them, which pissed Kiba off. "Why are you people here?" he said. "We're here to bring you back," Sakura said. "We're here to bring you back home. That place is no longer my home. If you know what's better for you, I suggest you take them and go, Kakashi," he said, looking directly at the man. "Sasuke, you know I can't do that. I failed you as a sensei. I wasn't able to get you on the right path. But now I'm here to fix all of that," he said. "However, in order to do so, you need to come with me," he said, looking towards Sasuke, determination in his one eye. "You're right. You did fail as my sensei, but you did teach me something useful. Other than that, you or them mean nothing to me. I have severed all my bonds and connections to the Hidden Leaf. I'm no longer a part of the village." "I'm afraid that is not how things work," Yamato said. "We were ordered to bring you back if sighted, so you will be coming with us." Sasuke tilted his head down towards him. "Is that so?" he said. "Yeah, he's right." Kiba mouthed off. "Acting like you're some sort of superior being than us. You've always been a jackass, but today I'm gonna beat that out of you and drag you back to the leaf. It's my order after all, to use excessive force if needed," he said, clenching his fist as Akamaru barked. Sasuke scoffed, looking at them like they were nothing but maggots to be crushed. As he proceeded, to flash right towards Kiba, his blade already out. Sasuke was going to prove to them that he had no ties with the village by ending one of them right here and right now. So fast. Both Kakashi and Yamato said at the same time. As they spun around, Kiba was shocked. Akamaru was also shocked as well, as the blade was coming to end his life. However, it was then that it happened. A hand gripped Sasuke's hand, shocking him. Not just him, but every single one of them there. They were utterly speechless to what exactly they were looking at. The words could not describe what the hell was going on. Meanwhile that was going on, Orochimaru of the Sannin had sent word. That is why he wasn't currently here yet. Sent word to all the other bases to keep a lookout for Naruto. In the 2 times that Naruto emerged from the forest, the first time Orochimaru felt it, the changes, but the second time, Orochimaru felt a lingering darkness, a twisted, violent sensation within the depths of the boy that he could not quite understand. Yet, his words were still respectful, his tone was loyal. However, Orochimaru knew that he had created something, a monster, a great monster that he had to be careful with. The mere fact that Naruto killed the Sound Ninjas that were there on guard duty made Orochimaru believe that the child was choosing to take another path. Orochimaru was someone that did not fear much in this world. However, the darkness that was in that forest, that chakra that he himself could not understand, despite after years of studying and tinkering with it, he could barely grasp or imagine what exactly it was. It seemed to have bonded with the boy, or maybe he has somehow understand what it was. The Sannin had spoke to him about it, but he acted like he had no idea what exactly he was talking about. But there was no possible way that training alone could make him give off this feeling of death, malice, hate. There was no way. The Sannin was quickly returning back towards the base, where Sasuke was now. As he made his way, Sasuke was one of his high priority, so he couldn't afford to lose him. Back towards the Konoha group, they were shocked. Hinata couldn't believe it as she saw his eyes. However, trying to resemble the eyes that he once had, they were not the same. Not at all. It was like looking at 2 different individuals. Whoever this was, he looked like him, but his gaze was so different. It was like looking at someone completely different. But it was him. It was him. Kakashi couldn't believe it. His words came out. Naruto? Sakura was shocked. The 2 people that she thought she would never see again, standing beside one another. She couldn't believe it. Kuruna and the others were speechless. Kiba was shocked. Of all the people to save his life, Naruto? He never thought that he would ever even see Naruto again, and yet Naruto was here saving his life. He wondered if he was dreaming or imagining this or something. Could this really be reality, he wondered. Sasuke was confused. He saw the death right in front of his eyes. Was that a trick? Some sort of illusion? It must be, because how was this possible? How are you alive? Sasuke's words came out soft. He desperately wanted to know. As Naruto looked at him, still holding on to the hand. Sorry to interrupt your kill, said Naruto. But I've always wanted to cut him down myself. The words came out fast. Kurena's eyes went wide. Kibamu! She was cut off as blood sprayed. Kiba was confused. Why was he looking down at his body? Wait, Where the hell was his head? The corpse and the head collapsed down as Naruto's hand was covered in a wind blade. Sasuke was more shocked to what he saw. All of them were. As Naruto grinned slightly, showing off his canines. How he was alive or whatever he was now. Well, they were going to meet the new and improved Naruto Uzumaki. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.